Hey everybody, this is going to be a playthrough of the 14th mission in the Cyclone 3 campaign for the Su-25T. This is a free user-made campaign put out by somebody in the community, so I'll put a download link for that in the video description. Looking at the mission planner, we've got the title To Destroy Frigate, so I assume that was translated from some other language. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to be destroying a ship in this mission. It's kind of afternoon, so bad weather and low light. Visibility is an issue, but luckily we're using anti-radiation missiles for the most part, so visibility is not a big problem. Looking at the allies, we've got an Mi-8 helicopter and a MiG-29. Looking at the threat, we've got this ship, this frigate, as well as a single F5. So looking at the mission planner, it's pretty straightforward. We'll just be taking off out of Sukhumi, flying south towards Batumi, and then finding this frigate out in the water, and then killing it. This frigate is loaded up with a whole lot of surface-to-air missiles that are pretty deadly, so we're going to need to do a low-level pop-up attack to stay below his minimum engagement altitude. So essentially, we're going to fly out to waypoint 1 at pretty low altitude, and then after we cross waypoint 1, we're going to want to get stable at less than 10 meters altitude. That way he won't be able to fire at you. You'll see him lock you up, but he won't fire. Once we get stable on that, we can use the straight level autopilot to keep us there. Hopefully, the oscillations it has right when it takes over don't fly you into the water. And then eventually you'll start getting RWR hits from the ship. At that point, you can go to air to ground mode and turn on your ELINT pod and then lock up the ship. And then you're just waiting to get in range of your anti-radiation missiles. So you're going to want to fire off. You've got 4 of the 25s and 2 of the 58s. You're going to fire off all the 25s first because they're shorter range and slower. And then once you got all 4 of those off, you can fire off your 58s. So if you hit with a bunch of those, then the ship will be destroyed. If that doesn't quite do the trick, hopefully at least his ability to launch missiles is degraded, and you can finish him off with the S-25L laser-guided missiles. Probably won't come to that. Don't launch right when you get in range because that'll give him more time to shoot your missiles down. So make a judgment call. You want to shoot outside of the range of his cannon, his like CWIZ type gun, or probably is a CWIZ on that. But you know, close enough that he doesn't have a lot of time to shoot down your missiles after you shoot them. So you might have to play this a few times to get a feel for what that range is. Once you've destroyed him, then you'll get the text that tells you to RTB. And then once you land back in Sukhumi, you'll get the mission success text. You do have a wingman here. He's not going to be a whole lot of use, but maybe at least he can attract the attention of the frigate. I don't know if the wingman will follow you down to quite that low altitude that we want to fly at. So if he flies a little higher, then he will get fired at. So that might be a positive in that he'll draw the attention away, but he's probably going to die. So don't worry too much about your wingman. But you can use him to attack the frigate by telling him to attack the primary target. So good luck. All right, start the mission. Close the canopy, turn the electrical on, engines on, flaps down, radio ATC, let them know we're starting up.
Уклад, 100, запуск. 1:00. Уклад, без запуска разрешаю. Ветер у земли 3:00. Скорость 6 метров в секунду.
All right, engines are almost ready, so we'll request taxi to see which runway we're getting.
100, руление. 1:00.
Runway 30, so that's left to right from this perspective, so we'll taxi off to the left at first. Get around these trucks though. Alright, we got the runway here. Straighten out and take off as soon as possible. Not going to bother waiting for the wingman. Alright, we'll turn and get to waypoint 1. I'm going to stay low since we're doing a sea-skimming attack here. Alright, on the way to waypoint 1, I'll shoot for about 30 meters altitude. No need to get super low because there's going to be a bit of a heading change as we cross waypoint 1 and get to waypoint 2. But I'll try to get it trimmed out pretty close to neutral. Alright, there's that heading change to waypoint 2. So we'll get pointed at waypoint 2 and then we'll start working our way down to below 10 meters. Alright, there's 7, so we'll try to level off here. Alright, straighten level autopilot, hopefully it doesn't drive us into the water. It almost did, we got down to 2 meters. Alright, it's stabilizing somewhere around 7 meters, so that's good. Alright, so once we start seeing radar hits on the RWR, I'll turn the ELINT pod on and the ECM jammers on and the squall on. So we'll lock up the ship with the ELINT pod. That'll slew the squall over to that location automatically. So we'll get eyes on that ship, then we'll get well within range of our missiles and start launching everything all at once. The closer we get, the higher chance they are of more of them hitting and doing significant damage to the ship. We don't want to get so close that we get in range of their like Sea-Wiz gun. So it's kind of just a judgment call there. Not sure how far back the wingman is. Probably pretty far back if he hasn't crashed into the water. As we get closer, we start to think about engaging. I'll direct him to attack the primary target. I think that'll work for getting him to attack the ship. Alright, we got the RWR hits now, so air to ground mode, ELINT pod on, lock up the ship, turn the TV on, zoom it in. Yeah, there he is. So we're going to want to get well within range of the 25 MPU missiles, because those are the slower and shorter range ones. So we'll launch all those first, and then we'll shoot the 58s shortly after. Alright, I'll direct the wingman to attack the primary here. We'll see what he says. Yeah, he confirms, so hopefully he does something. Alright, we're in range of the 25s, but we want to be well within range, so we'll wait much longer. Alright, he's firing at the wingman, it looks like. Call that good enough. Autopilot off. Pop up a little bit. Start shooting. Alright, Elin pod off. We'll switch to the 25L laser guided missiles. Got some more distance we got to close for that. Alright, we've destroyed it. Turn around and get back to base. Turning the jammers off. And I'll just do the route following autopilot for now. There's a long boring flight back. I'll have timestamps in the video description in case you want to skip this part. See if the wingman survived all that. Tell him to RTB. Doesn't look good for him. Well, at least he distracted the ship a little bit. And I'm going to turn off the autopilot, get below the clouds here.
Gear down. 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 Gear down.
Alright, there's the runway out there.
Gear down.
A lot of rain noise, but there's really not much wind. Alright, we lost the HUD. Must have been a malfunction programmed in. All right, we had mission success, and that'll do it.